Okay, let's unpack this. How much money do you think changes hands in the global tennis market every year?
Mm.
We're talking about a sport, often seen as individual, maybe even a bit niche sometimes.
Right.
Well, prepare to have your assumptions truly served up.
Mm.
Welcome to a deep dive into the fascinating world of the global tennis market.
It's a good one.
Our mission today is to give you a clear, concise picture of where the tennis market stands, where it's headed, and, well, what exactly is driving its impressive growth.
Yeah.
And all of this comes straight from a comprehensive report by Cognitive Market Research.
And believe me, it's far from niche when you look at the numbers. What's truly fascinating here is just the sheer scale.
Okay.
When we talk about the market value of tennis, we're looking at, well, everything. Equipment sales, tickets, sure, but also those lucrative media rights, sponsorships, coaching fees.
The whole ecosystem.
Exactly, this huge ecosystem. It was valued at over $4.3 billion globally. That was back in 2021.
$4.3 billion. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
That number isn't just growing. It sounds like it's accelerating. By 2025, that global market is projected to jump to nearly $5.6 billion.
That's right, almost 5.6.
And then looking further out to 2033, it's set to hit an impressive $9.3 billion.
9.3 billion. That kind of, robust expansion is really clearly indicated by the compound annual growth rate, or CAGR.
Right, to CAGR.
Which stands at a very healthy 6.553%.
Okay.
And what that figure tells us is that this isn't just like a one-off spike,
Not a blip.
No, it's a consistent, sustained growth trajectory. This truly isn't just about a game, it's about a rapidly expanding global industry.
You heard that right. From 2021 to 2033, we're talking about the global tennis market effectively doubling.
More than doubling, yeah.
In just over a decade. It really underscores just how much momentum this whole industry has.
Absolutely.
So, okay, with that kind of global surge, where is the current commercial gravity center? Where's most of this market activity concentrated right now?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, North America currently holds that title. It's acting as the undisputed powerhouse for now.
Okay, North America.
In 2021, its total market value was over $1.7 billion.
Wow.
And it's projected to climb to nearly $3.6 billion by 2033.
$3.6 billion. That's a massive slice of the global pie then.
It really is.
And I assume within North America, the United States is the big driver.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. is the clear leader, consistently accounting for, the lion's share of that revenue. It's projected to exceed $2.7 billion by 2033.
$2.7 billion just for the U.S.
Just the U.S.
But it's not only the U.S., is it? The report also mentioned Canada and Mexico.
Exactly. We see significant contributions there, too. Canada set to almost double its market value to nearly $500 million by 2033.
Okay, $500 million.
And Mexico growing strongly, too, to over $320 million by 2033.
Huh. So this really shows you where the market's current commercial gravity center is.
Mm-hmm. Where most revenue is generated, attracting significant investment, often setting trends.
Right.
But as we'll definitely see, that gravity is starting to, let's say, spread out a bit more across the globe.
Okay, so next up, let's cross the Atlantic. Let's talk Europe.
Right.
Now, this continent has such a deep tennis tradition, and it presents a really diverse landscape when it comes to the tennis market, doesn't it?
It really does.
Its total market value was what, over $1.2 billion in 2021?
Yeah, just over $1.2 billion, and projected to exceed $2.5 billion by 2033.
$2.5 billion. So what stands out to you about Europe's growth pattern? Is it uniform or quite varied?
No, it's definitely varied. What's interesting in Europe is the mix. You've got both these established powerhouses and some surprising growth areas, too.
Like who?
Well, Germany leads the pack there, projected to grow from around $214 million to over $414 million by 2033.
Okay, quite a jump for Germany.
Yeah. And the United Kingdom and Russia are also strong players, both on track to exceed $300 million in market value by then.
Right.
And France isn't far behind that either.
And it's not just those sort of top 4 or 5 economies, is it? You also mentioned significant contributions from places like Italy and Spain.
Absolutely. Italy and Spain are both on course to break the $170 million mark. So very significant markets.
Okay.
But then you also have these consistently growing, maybe smaller markets in total value, but still important, like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, even Luxembourg. all showing really solid proportional increases over the decade.
So steady growth across the board, even if the starting points are different.
Exactly. It highlights the varying scales, but also the significant growth potentials within, a historically strong tennis continent.
Right.
And maybe what's most telling is the collective rest of Europe category.
Ah, okay. What does that show?
Well, that shows substantial growth, too, from around $281 million in 2021 to over $665 million projected by 2033.
Wow, so that indicates really widespread regional expansion then.
Exactly. It's not just concentrated in a few major countries. It's broadening out.
Okay, fascinating.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about the region described as the, quote, fastest challenger, Asia Pacific.
Yeah, APAC. This is a really dynamic one.
The numbers are pretty striking. Revenues over $809 million in 2021, projected to hit an incredible $1.9 billion by 2033.
Almost $2 billion.
So what's making this region so dynamic? What's the story there?
Well, this region is truly, pinpointing where future tennis growth might be most explosive. It's significantly shifting the global landscape.
And who's leading that charge?
China is really leading the charge here, projected to more than double its market size from roughly $244 million to over $542 million by 2033.
Okay, China out front.
Yeah, but Japan also shows really robust growth, projected to reach over $370 million.
And I saw India mentioned as well. That looked like a truly remarkable story of rapid expansion.
It really is. India is leaping from just under $110 million in 2021 to nearly $300 million by 2033.
Wow, so that's almost tripling in just over a decade.
It is indeed huge growth potential being realized there.
Incredibly.
And, it's not just those three. Other markets like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia as a whole, and Taiwan, they're also contributing significantly to this surge.
So it's widespread within APAC too.
Absolutely. And again, that rest of APAC category also sees strong growth from around $69 million to over $202 million. It just underscores broad regional development. This is where we're seeing emerging giants really, flex their muscles in the tennis world.
Right. Emerging giants. Good way to put it. Okay, moving south now, let's look at South America. The report suggests consistent, maybe not explosive like APAC, but steady growth.
Yeah, that's a good summary. Consistent, steady growth. The total market value for the continent was nearly $300 million in 2021,
Okay.
and that's growing to over $711 million projected by 2033.
Still more than doubling over the period. And who are the key players there?
Brazil leads the way in South America. It's going from around $107 million to over $247 million.
Okay.
But Argentina, Colombia, Peru, and Chile also show steady increases. So collectively, it demonstrates consistent, significant growth right across the continent.
So maybe not grabbing the same headlines as Asia Pacific.
Perhaps not, but it's still a solid expanding market. Definitely one to watch.
Got it. Okay, the Middle East. An interesting region. The report calls it having emerging opportunities. Their total market value was around $156 million in 2021, projected to be over $281 million in 2033. What are the key areas of development here? What's driving that growth?
Well, what's particularly compelling here is seeing how countries like, say, Saudi Arabia are contributing significantly.
How much?
It's projected to go from over $60 million to more than $107 million.
Okay, significant jump.
Yeah. And Turkey, the UAE, Egypt, Qatar, they're also actively developing their sports markets. You see notable growth figures there, too. It gives great insight into these emerging tennis hubs.
So we're seeing more investment, perhaps more tournaments hosted there.
Exactly. More high-profile tournaments, definitely investment in facilities in the region. It's becoming a more visible part of the tennis landscape.
Interesting. Okay, finally, let's talk about Africa. The report notes significant potential.
Yeah, significant potential is the key phrase.
It's starting from a smaller base, obviously, just over $82 million in 2021, but its total market value is projected to exceed $203 million by 2033.
That's right. So again, more than doubling.
And who are the main countries driving that growth in Africa?
South Africa leads here. It's growing from around $27 million to over $65 million projected by 2033.
Okay.
Nigeria, too, shows really strong growth, projected to more than double, maybe nearly triple, actually, from around $16 million to over $39 million.
Wow.
So yeah, while it is starting from a smaller base compared to, say, North America or Europe,
Right.
the projected growth here is proportionally very strong. It really indicates a region that's, well, ripe for development in the sport.
And when you think about the potential,
Exactly. Think about the sheer untapped population in many areas, the growing middle class in many of these countries.
Yeah.
The potential is huge.
okay, so we've seen the numbers, the growth rates, the regional shifts.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone from the established powerhouses to these emerging giants. But what's truly driving all this global expansion? Let's try and connect these dots now.
Absolutely. And the report is quite clear on this. It really boils down to a powerful combination of factors.
Richard.
Growing investments, increasing participation, and expanding global interest.
Okay, investment, participation, interest.
And crucially, these factors aren't isolated. They're deeply interlinked, you know? They create this kind of positive feedback loop.
Right, makes sense. Can you give us some tangible examples? Like what kind of investments are we talking about? Is it just prize money?
Well, prize money is part of it, sure, but growing investments go way beyond that. Think about new state-of-the-art training facilities, academies being built in emerging markets like India, for instance.
Right, infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure. Or think about corporate sponsorships driving grassroots programs, maybe in places across Africa or South America. These investments in like the foundation's infrastructure development, they create the basis for wider appeal.
Okay, so investment builds the foundation. How does that then translate directly into more people actually playing tennis? More participation?
Well, it's pretty direct. More investment leads to better infrastructure, right? More accessible courts, maybe better coaching available locally.
Yeah.
This directly boosts participation at all levels. We're talking kids picking up a racket for the first time in, say, a community program, all the way up to adults joining recreational leagues because there are suddenly decent courts nearby.
And visibility probably plays a role too.
Huge role. When you see more local courts being used or maybe a big new facility being built or more tennis on TV, it just sparks interest. People think, hey, maybe I could try that.
Okay, so investment leads to participation. And then the third factor was expanding global interest. How does all this feed into that?
Well, as participation grows, naturally, so does the talent pool, right?
Sure.
This creates more compelling stories. You get more diverse champions emerging from new regions, which haven't traditionally been tennis powerhouses.
Yeah, that makes the sport more globally relevant.
Exactly. And that, in turn, creates a broader global fan base. People get interested in players from their own regions or just find the diversity exciting.
And a bigger fan base means?
More money, essentially. Expanding global interest then attracts even more lucrative media rights deals, bigger sponsorships, more host cities wanting tournaments.
Ah, so it's a virtuous cycle.
Precisely. More investment draws more players, which creates more fans and more compelling narratives, which in turn fuels more investment.
Gotcha.
And understanding this underlying why this cycle, it's really crucial for understanding the market dynamics across all these different regions, even though they have very different starting points and growth rates.
Okay, that really ties it together. So to quickly recap them, what we've deep dived into today shows this global tennis market is, well, it's booming, said to more than double, soaring from over $4.3 billion back in 2021 to a staggering projection of $9.3 billion by 2033.
Quite the jump.
Yeah, and we've explored the established powerhouses like North America and Europe, still growing strongly, but also these rapidly emerging markets in Asia-Pacific, South America, the Middle East, and Africa, each growing at its own significant pace.
So what does knowing all this mean for you listening in?
Good question.
Well, perhaps it's about understanding these broader global economic shifts, you know?
Yeah.
Seeing where investment and growth are heading. Or maybe identifying new trends in sports and leisure.
Or even just appreciating the massive and still growing scale of a sport that, we often associate with individual achievement on the court.
Right, but it's clearly a booming global industry off the court, too.
Definitely. So as the tennis market continues, this rapid expansion globally, driven by those interlocking factors we just discussed, investment, participation, interest, maybe consider this thought.
Okay.
This increased engagement with the sport, it might not just boost the economy, right?
Indeed. Thinking beyond the financials, it could also reshape cultural landscapes, maybe youth development in really unexpected ways across all these incredibly diverse regions we've talked about.
Yeah, imagine the social impact, not just the economic impact,
Yeah.
of a nearly $10 billion global tennis market. How might that change lives, far beyond the baseline? Ever feel like you're drowning in information, just wishing you could get straight to what really matters on a complex topic? Well, you're definitely in the right place. Today, We're doing a deep dive into the really fascinating world of the global tennis market. It's always changing. Our mission basically is to pull out the most important bits, the key insights from a whole stack of expert sources. We'll look at what's driving tennis forward, the big challenges it's facing, and some of the cool new stuff shaping its future. Think of it as, your shortcut to being properly clued in. We'll try and keep it interesting, maybe even a little fun.
Exactly. And we have gone through quite a bit of material industry reports, market analyses. The idea is to help you understand not just what's happening, the headlines, but why it's happening and why it matters. Giving you that broader context for the global game puts you ahead a bit.
Okay, great. Let's get into it then. Every match starts with a serve, right? A powerful one, hopefully. So what's serving the ace for the tennis market right now? Our first section, the serve, key drivers of growth, is all about the forces pushing it forward. And you can't really talk tennis without talking about the stars.
Mm-hmm. The big names.
Yeah, the big names. It goes beyond just, selling a few more rackets when someone wins Wimbledon or the U.S. Open, though that happens too. The real insight, I think, is how these global icons, they're not just endorsers anymore. They're like full-blown content creators.
Right. On social media, you mean?
Exactly. They're Instagram, TikTok. They share training stuff, lifestyle glimpses. It creates this more authentic connection. It turns casual fans into people who actually want to play or buy the gear. Like take the Yonex VTR racket, the 7th gen one.
Okay.
It's got that special head shape, the isometric one. Apparently it makes the sweet spot bigger, like 7% bigger than normal round frames.
Right. Helps with off-center hits.
Yeah, and gives you like almost 3% more spin. That kind of specific tech, it gets pushed hard through the pros who use it.
And it works. It's this, it's almost a virtuous cycle, isn't it? You see the media visibility from a Grand Slam win that drives player influence. People want what the winner uses, and that fuels demand for the cutting-edge design the brands are putting out. The data actually shows a direct sales spike for endorsed rackets right after a major win, like within 48 hours.
Wow, that fast.
Yeah, it's an immediate market response. But, it does make you wonder, does relying so heavily on just a few massive stars make the market a bit fragile?
Fragile.
Well, what happens when, say, a Federer or a Nadal finally hangs up their racket for good? Do we see a dip?
That's a really good question, a critical one.
Yeah.
And while, star power is massive, the data seems to suggest there's maybe a bit of a generational shift happening.
Okay.
Younger fans, they seem to follow a wider range of players, not just the absolute top 2 or 3. And social media lets, even lesser-known players build a real following.
So that could spread the risk a bit.
Maybe, yeah. It might mitigate some of that risk, but it still means the sport needs that constant pipeline of exciting new talent. Okay, so star power gets people interested. But what keeps them playing, beyond just watching the pros, that brings us to the second big driver. This huge global focus on health and fitness. This is massive.
The wellness trend.
Totally.
Yeah.
Tennis is, it's known for being a fantastic full-body workout, right? Good for your heart, agility, even your head, mental well-being.
Definitely.
And that fits perfectly with this big societal shift towards just being more active across all ages.
Yeah.
The impact is pretty clear. You see more demand for local courts, for coaches, and obviously for gear.
Yeah.
Especially in cities, participation's really going up. And you've got governments, other organizations actively pushing tennis now. Fitness campaigns, school programs, community stuff, all trying to get people moving.
And if you look at the bigger picture, it plugs right into that massive global wellness economy. People want activities that combine fitness, fun, maybe a bit of a challenge.
Right.
Tennis offers that mix. And maybe, compared to some team sports, the basic rules aren't too complicated to pick up. It's appealing when people are really prioritizing well-being.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing. Even the best players hit double fault sometimes, right?
True.
So our next bit is the double fault. Significant restraints and challenges. Because, there's growth, but there are also some serious hurdles. First one, the cost. It's not cheap.
No, it really isn't. That's a major barrier.
When you add it all up.
Yeah.
Rackets, good shoes, court hire, coaching fees.
Yeah.
It gets expensive fast.
Especially ongoing costs like coaching and court time.
Exactly. And that can really put it out of reach, especially for younger players or families, maybe in cities where money's already tight.
Yeah.
And the impact is obvious, isn't it? It limits who can access the sport. It holds back wider participation, especially in like middle or lower income groups. grassroots development suffers.
Absolutely. It keeps the game feeling a bit exclusive sometimes, maybe stifles talent that just can't afford to get started or keep going.
And that kind of links to the second big challenge, patchy infrastructure and, well, the fact that tennis isn't equally popular everywhere.
Right. Uneven global spread.
Yeah. It's huge in Europe, North America, parts of Asia, Australia. But lots of other places, especially, say, developing countries or rural areas, it's much less visible.
And often that's down to basics like just not having enough courts.
Exactly. Lack of courts, lack of qualified coaches. Plus, in some economies, if there's limited money for sports development, it often goes to cheaper, maybe more established sports like football or cricket.
Makes sense from a purely practical standpoint sometimes, lower infrastructure needs.
Yeah. And you add in maybe a lack of government tennis programs, not much media coverage compared to other sports, and not enough private companies investing in youth tennis. It just makes it really hard for tennis to get a proper foothold in new places and build up a player base.
And that whole situation, it really creates a divide, doesn't it? A kind of equity issue in the sport's global reach. It limits the potential for it to be truly inclusive, a genuinely universal game. You're definitely missing out on potential talent and just engagement from whole populations.
Okay, let's switch gears, though. Let's hit a volley, something positive. Our final segment, the volley. Exciting trends redefining the game. Because there's some really cool stuff happening that's changing how tennis is played and experienced. Top of that list, smart tennis gear.
Ah, yes. The tech side.
Yeah, it's more than just like fancy gadgets.
Yeah.
Players are using rackets with sensors built in, wearables, AI coaching tools, all giving real-time performance data.
So what kind of data are we talking about?
Well, things like racket head speed, exactly where you hit the ball in the strings, the path of your swing, even like how much you rotate your forearm pronation stuff you used to only get in a high-tech lab.
Right, detailed biomechanics.
Exactly. And having that instantly lets players train smarter, see what they're doing wrong, and improve way faster. Plus, you've got apps, cloud platforms.
Yeah.
It makes the whole thing more immersive, more measurable. And for the companies, it opens up new ways to make money. Premium smart gear, digital coaching subscriptions, that kind of thing.
You know, the key thing there, I think, is that it's more than just a trend about cool gadgets.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally changing the interaction between the player and their own game. It gives this personalized feedback, this data-driven path to improvement that just wasn't really accessible to amateurs before. It's kind of democratizing high-level analysis in a way.
That's a great point. Democratizing analysis. I like that. Okay, second really interesting trend, sustainability.
Yeah.
The demand for eco-friendly tennis gear is really taking off.
Yeah, that's a big one across lots of consumer goods now.
Definitely. People are actively looking for rackets, balls, clothes made from recycled stuff or biodegradable materials, things with a lower environmental impact. It shows a real shift in what consumers value.
And the brands are listening.
Oh, yeah. Big names like Adidas, Wilson. They're launching green product lines, making public pledges about sustainability and how they make things.
Right.
You see gear made with recycled packaging, plastics pulled from the ocean, organic cotton. It's becoming a way for them to stand out, a competitive advantage.
And it resonates, doesn't it? Sustainability isn't just some niche nice to have anymore.
No.
For a lot of modern players and fans, it's becoming a core expectation. It reflects that wider societal shift where people genuinely care about environmental responsibility. It builds brand loyalty if a company aligns with those values.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening in? Well, bringing it all together.
You've got the star power creating buzz, the health trend driving more people to play, the digital tech making training smarter, and sustainability aligning with modern values. It feels like tennis is really entering a new phase, maybe more innovative, potentially more inclusive.
Although it is important to remember that those hurdles we talked about, the cost, the access issues, they haven't gone away.
Absolutely, there's still very real challenges, which kind of leads to a final thought for you to chew on. Considering all this amazing innovation and this clear desire for a healthier, more connected sport, how could the tennis world actually use these trends, the tech, the sustainability focus, to tackle those barriers of cost and infrastructure head on? To really finally make the game accessible to truly everyone, everywhere. Something to think about as the game keeps evolving.